Well, it's that time. It's time to start installing the furnace. Yes, we're just doing a little bit of nighttime work here. We're not going to be doing this all in one day. This is going to take another week or so to get this fully installed, but this is my furnace. A friend actually gave me this furnace, so it didn't cost me anything. It's pretty old. I'd say, I'm guessing it was probably made somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there. So it's pretty old, but it still works. A lot of the parts are still available for it. I know I can still get the whole gas valve unit down here. I can still get the blower fan. I can still get a control board for it. The only parts that really can't replace is the heat exchanger parts of it, but as long as that's intact, the rest of it can still continue to work. So yeah, it's a little bit old. I'll probably end up having to modify and upgrade the sail switch so that works better, but the price is right. It's a nice propane furnace. It came out of an RV. Once it's installed correctly, it will keep this van nice and warm. So this is where it's going to live here. This is the front driver's seat here, and we're going to set this up. Eventually we'll build cabinets out around it and everything, but right now we're trying to get this installed. So should be an interesting setup here. So I'm going to show you what I'm working on here. So first of all, I'm going to get this out of the way. This was the original table set up there when I had the fridge over here. Eventually the fridge is going to go back on this side when I build a new kitchen cabinet, but this is where the furnace is going. Let's get this out of the way. So we're going to have to cut a hole in the back of the van here, or the side of the van for the exhaust, because this does exhaust outside, which is exactly what I want. So it makes it safe to run even overnight while I'm sleeping, once I'm confirmed it's working and safe to use. The challenging part here is that there's 2 layers of metal I'm going to have to go through to get this out. So, so the first thing I'm going to have to do, let's see, I made a line where I'm going to cut. I have to cut a hole around through this side of the vent. Let me get the heater out of the way here. So I'm going to use that nibbler I bought for when I did the all the rust holes in that for cutting out sheet metal there to do this. So we're going to get the nibbler in here, and we're going to cut this out, cut that opening out there. And that's where the furnace is going to come in through, with the exhaust pipe. I'll go through there. So that's going to be a bit of a project and kind of scary too. If I screw anything up, it's going to be a very costly mistake to try and have that body patched up again. So that's what we're going to get started on. So again, we're not doing it tonight. I just wanted to get this project rolling here. Next video here, we're going to start working on cutting that interior metal shell, the next clip here. So after tonight. So I'll be probably working on that over the weekend here, but we're going to make sure we get that all on video here, because this is going to be an interesting project. Because once the furnace is installed, I'm going on a trip. So this is the tool I've got for cutting metal. This is the one I'm going to use on the inside shell, because remember, I got 2 layers of metal here I got to cut through, the inside layer and the outside layer. The outside layer I'm going to do with a jigsaw, but the inside layer I'm going to do with my metal nibbler, because I had a lot of weird shapes to work with, and plus with the other wall of metal on the outside there, it's going to get in the way of the blade. I just want to see if this would fit in here. No, it won't. Bummer. Alright, so I'm going to have to start off by actually drilling a hole in this thing. That's the first step. Once I have a hole drilled, then we can probably use this to do what I need it to do. Well, that's not going to be easy. So once again, we got this outline all shaped out here. We got a different type of drill bit here. This actually came with the nibbler. I've never had a chance to try this out yet, but this is one of those stepping bits, or step bits there. I'm not sure what it's called, but it slowly steps up to a bigger one each time. So let's see if this will actually drill through this metal properly. No, I should probably put a little oil on it first. Hold on. I'm going to use good old 3-in-1 oil here. This stuff's been in the house for forever. Put a little bit of that on the drill here. There we go, that should do it. Okay, got my safety glasses on, although you can't see my face in this video here, but let's see what happens. Yep, it's gonna... Ooh, it's gonna slide everywhere. Plus it is. I was afraid this table's going to get in the way, and it is. That stinks. All right. Let's see. If we can just move it out of the way a little bit here. There we go. Hey, it's more light too. Nice. All right. Makes quick work of it. You gotta admit, it makes quick work of it once I get through it. Just getting those angles that are a little bit difficult. And no, this video wasn't sped up at all or anything, so that was the actual speed it was running at. Ooh, so close and yet so far. Look at that. We have successfully cut off part of the van. And the thing works pretty good. Well, there you have it. First hole is cut. The furnace does fit. So that's good. So next task will be to cut the holes and cut the hole in the back, on the outer shell, I should say, not in the back, the outer shell. That one's going to be a bit more of a project too, but we'll get there. So we had a little bit of a weather delay on the furnace install project. As you can see, we got a bit of snow on the ground now. And I also got a little bit of a cold too this past week, so I didn't get a whole lot of stuff done this week, but we're back at it again here. I think today we're actually going to get the furnace functional. So we're going to be cutting an opening in the side of the van right here. So that's going to be a big project, kind of a scary project, but we're going to see if we can make this work today and actually fire up the furnace for the first time. So wish me luck. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with here. This is where the furnace is going to be installed, right here. So now I got to mark off where I need to drill some holes, and this is not going to be an easy one to accomplish here. So we're going to try to get in here somehow. Easier said than done. And we're going to mark off the 4 corners here. Little room. Down there. Yeah. Luckily it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, as long as it's got lots of overlap on the cover piece that's going to be in there. There, and I don't know how to reach that last corner. So grab this Sharpie here. Same thing with that. 2, 3, and let's see if we can even get this in here. Oh, can't get it in there. Oh boy. See if any of that marking shows up now. Three out of 4 show up. Okay, so after going back and forth on the measurements here, I finally determined these are the 4 spots I need to drill the holes in. Thankfully, this doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, and I want the opening to be a little too small so I can grind it out later. It'd be easier to widen it than it is to shrink it, so I'd rather it be too small. So that's the goal. Let's see how this works out. Okay. So this is basically going to be the point of no return here, because I'm about to drill 4 holes right through the side of the van. Oh, I'm scared about this. All right. See if I can get myself at a better angle here. There's no room. I'm going to have to move the table. Gonna have to move the table. And fit the drill in there. There we go. All right. Right there. Oops. Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, what on earth? Okay. let's try this again. Too short. Drilling. Okay. One hole done. Drill bit a little bit longer. There we go. Okay, one down. 3 more to go. Nope. The scariest part is done. We actually have holes coming through the van now. Right there. So hopefully we did it right. This will fit. Hopefully it will line up with the furnace too. Okay. So now we got to mark off the straight line here where I'll be cutting along. Best I can here. Best I can with what I've got, as usual. Oh, let's see. Oops. Just marked my finger. Now I got a blue finger. Lovely. Yeah, this is going to work out pretty good. This is all nice and flat right here. That one, and finally. Oh, it's cold and wet though. We need to be able to fit this jigsaw blade into it so we can cut through here. So that's what we're going to work on next. We need I don't want the holes to be right where the holes I drilled are. That's the tricky part. Take a while. Oh man, this is gonna take a while. Don't think that's big enough yet. Not quite. All right, one more. There we go. That should do it. Oh yeah, no problem. All right. So we got 3 more of those holes to drill here, and we'll be ready to use the jigsaw. Okay, so we got our 4 holes drilled out in the van here. Big enough to fit the saw blade through on them. And I'm going to just a touch of oil to the end of the blade. Help keep it from dulling out too quickly. And let's start cutting into this, see what happens. I don't know what to expect yet. Oh, and I added a little bit of tape to the bottom of this too to help keep it from scratching the finish on the van too. So, ow, little sharp edges there. Let's see. Not too bad for a little 12-volt battery operated jigsaw, right? I'm happy with the performance I'm getting from it. Okay, yes, we can see right through and out the other side now. So So it's cut. I did dull the blade out, I had to swap it out towards the end, but we're done there. We got that cut now. Now we got to see if the ducting will line up with the furnace inside. So that's the next test. You can see the duct itself actually fits very nicely through the opening I made. Okay. I'm gonna go stick the duct through the other side. 35 degrees in the van right now, so it's cold. All right. Oh my goodness, it lines up. Let's see if we can get that in the rest of the way here. Look at that. Oh my goodness, it actually fits. No additional cutting needed. I don't believe it. Let's see how it looks on the outside. It's coming, okay. Let's see. Look at that. Does it look like it's crooked? Well, I'm looking a little crooked on the outside. It's not bad, so I'll do some adjustments. But should work. We should have heat soon. Okay, so I'm just doing a test fitting. You see I added some screen to this too. That's going to help convince critters and insects to stay out of the furnace. The last thing I need. So it's probably going to be a problem. I'll have to keep it clean once in a while, come out and clean it once in a while because dust is going to fit in here. But it seems to go together nicely. Still a little crooked, but you know what? I think it's good enough. All right. So next task, we're going to add just a dab of paint around the edges of this. And it'll hopefully help keep it from rusting. Okay, so I've got a little bit of Rust-Oleum clean metal primer. Just going to put on the edges of where I cut it. I'm not even going to wait for it to dry properly because I don't have time, especially with the weather the way it is. It's going to take it a while. We're also going to be putting gasket RTV stuff over the edge of it too, so I don't think it's going to be a real issue. It's just not going to get at it when I'm done. Okay, so it's time to do the gasket maker stuff. I'm going to do it on both pieces. Make sure there's absolutely no chance of leaks coming into the van here while I'm using it. It's the last thing we need. So we need this to not leak. This down a little bit. A little wet with the snow. All right. Okay, now put a small bead around the edge of this. At least on three of the 4 sides. I'm not going to put any on the bottom. Or maybe, I don't know, should I? Yeah, I suppose I should. It'll also act as insulation too, so help keep drafts and stuff from coming in. Also help keep exhaust fumes from coming in where it's not supposed to be coming in from. So yeah, we want to do the whole thing. Now, chances are I'm probably doing this wrong, so if anybody has any comments on how I'm doing it, feel free to put them in the comments, as I do want to learn to do this stuff properly. I'm just basically guessing as I go here, so. As I said before in some of my earlier videos, this is not a how-to channel, I'm just showing how I did it. So, I am always open for input on that sort of stuff. Okay, I think that'll do it. I want to get that on my hands. There we go. Okay, that part's in. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the exhaust pipe part. This time we're going to put it around the edges here. There's 2 notches here that I got to leave open. Those are drain holes, but the rest of it's going to get sealed up. So, usually a liberal amount of this stuff, because, well, there's plenty of it in here. I want this to be sealed right. Okay, so I put a very liberal amount of the gasket maker around the edges of this, leaving 2 gaps for those 2 notches for drainage in case any water does get in, because water's obviously going to come in through this thing anyway. So we want it to drain out properly too. And we're going to try to put it in. There we go. Ah, yuck. Certainly is a tight fit. That's what we want it to be. We want it to be a tight fit. Well, I made a mess. No big surprise there. There we go. All right. The gasket sealer will certainly do the job. It will definitely keep a lot of the water from getting in. I'll have to clean it up a little bit by the time I'm done here, but next we got to get those 2 screws in, and that'll lock it all in place. As usual, a little bit of oil on the bit before using it. Keep things cooler and cleaner. Let's see if I can just clean up some of this excess gasket maker on the edge here without making an even bigger mess, but doubt that. Looks like I'm just going to make the thing worse. Alright, so we're up to the next day here. I kind of ran out of time here, but I got, after work here, we went and did some electrical work. Look down there, we got the first wires connected to the new fuse block down there. A couple of 10 gauge wires. We got the propane tank. We got the furnace. It's already been leak tested. And yes, before anybody comments on the propane tank, yes, I know this is not the right way to do it. I know it's not vented properly or anything like that. This is for the initial test. There isn't a lot of propane in that tank anyway. It's almost empty. We're just going to have to use it to do a fire-on test to see if everything works. Yes, the first couple of trips I'm going to take with this setup there, the propane tank is going to be just like this in the van with me. So I'm aware of the risks of it venting, things like that. Chances are it's not going to vent. Those tend to vent 1 when they're full and 2, or 1 when they're overfilled and 2 when they get hot. And right now it's wintertime. It's February. Though my first trip's going to be the first week of March with it. But nevertheless, I know there's a slim but unlikely chance of it venting. The ultimate plan is to build this thing into a proper propane locker that will be vented outdoors. So it should be a lot safer once that's up and running. And of course this is only going to be used in the wintertime anyway, as it's just for the furnace right now. Eventually I might install a stove that uses the propane tank as well. And in that case I'll get some help from somebody who knows a bit about installing propane systems to help me plumb everything in so everything's on a proper regulator and proper copper lines. Right now I'm just using the hose and regulator for a gas grill, propane grill, so that's what's hooked up because it has the same fitting that the heater needs. But anyway, I know this has been a long video so far of installing it, but let's get this thing fired on and see what happens. Well, everything's in place. The electricity's hooked up. I've already done a power on test. I know the electrical system works. The fan came on, but I didn't have the propane connected as of that point in time. But now the propane is connected. It's been connected for a few minutes here. I don't smell any propane gas in the van, so that's good. So let's turn it on. Current temperature in the van, I got a little thermometer here. It's 54. It's actually not all that cold in here right now. But let's fire it on. Okay, we got power. Put this on it too. And there's the fan. It's running. Now we just wait to see if the propane kicks on. Current power consumption. Drawing almost 4 amps of power right now. And there comes the heat. And I just heard the heat come on. The furnace is running. Yeah, this thing's making heat. We have a working furnace. Next task is going to be build a cabinet around it. You don't want it just hanging out like it's doing, oops, like now. There we go. Obviously needs additional mounting in the front because it's kind of loose. The thing that's holding it in place right now is the two screws holding the bracket in the back there to the side of the van, so obviously it needs additional mounting to be safe. I'm going to make sure all these wires are routed away from it. This one's in the contact with the back of it right now. I don't like that. There we go. Oh, that's his feeling nice and warm now. Look at that. 38. And 40 in spots. And 44. Bottom of it's down to about, not bad. We have heat. Oh, and it feels good too. Oh, that feels real good. Oh, this is great. So that's it for this project. We have heat. It was a big project, one of the biggest projects I've ever worked on in this van, but it's working. We have warmth. It's already up to 55 degrees up here by that thermometer. So the heat is definitely working. So next task is to actually do a real world test. So we're going to get the van cleaned up, and about well, you'll probably see this next video right away here, but the next one will be to take the van up to the White Mountains again up in New Hampshire and test the heater out. See how it does. 2 nights up there is the plan. So in the meantime, thanks for watching. And remember, slow down and enjoy life. And I'll talk to you guys later.